Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dance Teacher Pep Talk. I am your host, Amanda, and I am so glad you are here. This is a space for dance teachers and anyone interested in teaching dance who is looking for motivation and fresh ideas. As teachers, we spend our days motivating and giving pep talks to our students, and now this podcast is a pep talk just for you. We hope that it helps to ignite new ideas and even work through some deep dance-related thoughts before you head into the studio. Thank you for your support, and now let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Dance Teacher Pep Talk. I hope that you are having a great day. And recently, I posted an episode which was an affirmations practice, and today's episode is sort of similar in the way that I feel it's an episode that you might come back to. It isn't a practice episode or a tool practice type of episode, but the tips within it, I think, will serve as important reminders. So this might be an episode that you like tag or flag or favorite or whatever it is, if you're ever needing to come back to it, because I know that I feel this way quite often, and it's hopefully going to be like a shorter episode that you can just come back to and remind yourself of these different tips that I'm going to give today. So, like I said, it's not going to be a tool or practice episode, but in a way it sort of is. So I want to jump right into it. This episode is going to be for dancers, dance teachers, judges, choreographers, anyone really, truly, I think can get so much out of this. And so this is a wind down practice and tips that I do because if you're like me, sometimes at the end of the day, no matter how tired you are, sometimes you cannot shut off. And, I'm curious, do you ever feel that no matter how tired you are, you just cannot turn your mind off? Sometimes I even feel like the adrenaline is still on full run. And I always think like, okay, I should be so tired right now. It is the end of the day. I have had a full day. And instead of feeling ready to go to sleep, I just feel like jittery and like a buzzy energy. And, sometimes this happens after a night of teaching, which is really interesting to me because, after like 5 or 6 hours of teaching, like you would think you'd be exhausted. But for some reason lately, especially, I feel like so powered up. Like I don't know how to shut down fully. And I feel this way actually too after like a full day of competition. I see so many things that inspire me, and I want to like think on all these ideas, or like my head is filling up with new ideas. And it's like you were at a venue for like gosh knows how many hours all day long, and you cannot go to bed. And sometimes I also feel this way leading into a competition weekend. Like, do you ever have that feeling that you anticipate the alarm clock going off? So like, even though, like maybe you do get up early on a day-to-day basis, maybe like on a competition weekend, it's like, is my alarm going to go off? Or like, you're like nervous because you have a call time of like 6:30 or whatever at the venue, or, whatever time it is. So it's like this cannot fully relax because we anticipate what's to come, or we continue thinking about the day that we had. Or maybe our bodies, like maybe we're not even thinking about things. Maybe our bodies are just holding on to that. And like we feel the effect of that energy. And, judges, I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that this episode is a great one for judges too. Like for a competition weekend, like I do not know how you do it. I am not a judge. I have not judged. And I just like, this is how I think of it. It's like stimulation overload all day. Like you have to be on from whatever time the competition starts till the end. And then like some nights it goes super late, and then you have to like get a few hours of sleep and then be prepared to wake up fresh, bright, with full of energy, ready to go for the dancers that you are giving feedback to. Like, when I think about that, it's a lot. And it's also a lot because like I think about how much energy I give to my dancers when I am cleaning a routine or giving them notes or like going through stuff as we are preparing for competition. And I can feel the effects of that. And that's just like a handful of pieces. And you are looking at hundreds of pieces in a weekend and having to give that same energy to each one. And so I can imagine that for a judge, even like with the exhaustion that you might feel, you might have that like jittery adrenaline issue too at the end of the day, like where you need to find the way to wind down and come down. Dancers, same thing, like your bodies are going all day and sometimes it's you hit full exhaustion mode, but sometimes you're still like riding on that adrenaline wave of the day and like you're thinking, okay, I need to get so many hours of sleep and I'm going to be back at the venue tomorrow morning. Like, how do you do that? So it's a lot. And that might also apply to like, not even in the competition scene, but maybe a show. Like if you have like a show weekend coming up or things like that, and you're preparing and you have your rehearsal nights and then and your stage performance rehearsal, things like that, it's a lot. And so it's a lot to expect of ourselves. It really is. And it's a lot that we expect of our dancers too, like on the flip side of things. So today's episode, like I said, I'm going to give you some tips and ideas to help our minds turn off at the end of the day. And it could also help you as you are preparing for a big day as well. So here we go. One of the biggest things that keeps our mind running is, in my opinion, the preparation for what is ahead, or the reflection of what was. So before you even start trying to relax, because like it's not going to work if you're like, okay, I'm just going to relax. That is definitely not going to work. For me, what's really important is to get my thoughts out. So you could open your notes app, take out a journal. Those are two ideas, and write all of the things you're thinking and feeling. Because, maybe there was an inspiring moment in your class that you want to remember. Maybe something didn't go right and you are reflecting on that. And maybe you want to address it at a later time. While you were at a competition, was there a piece that like really stuck in your mind and you can't stop thinking about it and you need to write it down or write about it, write about what it made you feel. Why are you holding on to it right now when you're supposed to be relaxing? What movements and moments are taking up space in your mind right now, keeping you from settling? So this is a very important time to get the thoughts out. We don't want to hold them in, because the other thing too is like then it becomes that like anxious feeling of like, what if we forget this? Write it down. And that's why I suggest too like the notes app in your phone, because like a lot of the times maybe you just want to sit in a dark room and you don't really have the ability to journal pen to paper. Pull out your phone. Okay, another thing too, like there is a setting on your iPhone. I learned this. I'm not exactly like sure how to give instructions on it. But like, I know that you can do like night mode, obviously, like to turn your screen down, because they do say like blue light can be really affect and stimulate you when you should be winding down. But there's another thing that you can do, and it's like a red color filter. And I think it's like in the accessibility area of the phone. I'm not quite sure, but maybe you could like look it up or something. But what it does is like you can create a red filter on your screen, which is a little bit like more toned down. It's not as stimulating the way that like the blue light of the phone is. So like if that does affect you, if the blue light does affect you, maybe give red light a try. And I've heard it really helps for people. For me, I did notice a big difference when I changed that. And I just do it on my own. Like I think whatever ability it is, it's like you click the side button 3 times, and once you have it set, and then it'll always go to that red filter. So it's super easy once you figure out how to do it, and I can't even give instructions on how to do it. But that can be helpful. And if writing is not really your thing and you feel like after writing it all out, you're still feeling whatever it is, I do feel like talking is helpful. So like if it's the middle of the night, that might be a little tough, but talk about the things that have happened, both the good and the bad. Sometimes it's not enough to physically write it out. Sometimes we need to like verbally speak it out as well, or like however you want to get these thoughts and feelings out. But something for me that like if it's still going on in my head and I just can't let it go and I just can't relax it, I just have to say to myself, it's happened, let it go. I cannot rewind time. I cannot go back and change that moment. So there is nothing that I can do at all. And if that person perceived it a certain way and it's good or bad, whatever, I cannot change that, because it's also the other person. The other person is perceiving whatever it is. So I need to just say that what I said today was what I said, and what I did today was what I did. And I can, do better tomorrow or continue to do whatever I did well the next day, but know that it happened and I can't do anything about it. So block it out of your mind as much as you can. And sometimes that is hard to just like shut it off, but like sometimes that's what you got to do. So now that we have allowed all of that to exit our mind for the night, try not to revisit it anymore. The inspiring moments, the things that really lit you up, the things that you are reflecting on, maybe like that you need to work on, things like that. Don't go back to them. They're already there. Wait until a fresh day, a fresh moment, and retackle it. Even the movement stuff. Like if you're like, ooh, like there's this like movement phrase that I really feel. If you even need to like video it and then like get it out of your system, done. Next day, we'll revisit it. But now is not the time. So, continuing now, this after we get it out of our systems, I feel like then it is the time to get into relaxation mode. Because how are you going to relax if you don't get it out of your system? So get it out of your system. And, just a sidebar here, one of the things that I was just thinking about this as I was talking. One of the things I laugh the most about these days are reels that say like, I need to remind my body that I'm just diaper changing my baby and not being chased by a lion or whatever that is. And like the same is true for us right now. Like we are not being chased by a lion. We are just filled with excitement and big moments, whether good or bad from today. And I've even like seen this now becoming like a thing in the dance context where it's like trying to convince myself I'm just about to perform on stage and I'm not being chased by a bear or, things like that. So if you've seen any of that, like it is that feeling and your body like has that response, like it is big and we need to tone that down. So just wanted to sidebar that there. But all right, so now getting into that relaxation mode, okay? Stretching, gentle stretching, especially if you're a judge or a dance teacher and you've spent a lot of time in the auditorium of a competition weekend, your body can hold so much tension. I know personally myself, like though I am not dancing the pieces, when I watch my pieces, I am sitting there and I am doing every single movement within my body. Like I can feel my muscles firing. Same thing might happen in like the dance classroom too. Like as I'm explaining and teaching, like maybe I'm only demonstrating to a certain degree, or, even maybe the demonstration itself is tough. But with that, it's like my body, I can feel the effects of it, even though I'm not like full out performing. Maybe I'll be like swaying in my seat a little bit, things like that. Judges too, especially judges that give a lot of energy to the dancers. Like if you're giving that energy to every single piece that comes on the stage, your body responds to it as well. And so I think it's so important to like release that tension and maybe, stretching, very gentle stretches. Like I'm not talking about doing like this full out routine. I'm talking like take 5 minutes, do some gentle shoulder rolls, something to just relax the body and get it to know that like, okay, we are settling down. Gentle stretches that you enjoy for your body where you're holding tension or tightness. Really be aware of those spots and things. Where do you hold tension? Where is that in your body? And can we give just a little bit to create space in those areas before settling down for the evening? So maybe you have your own favorites. Maybe you want to do like a quick YouTube video. Like there are YouTube videos out there for like bedtime stretching routines, bedtime yoga flows, things like that. Like just find a short one and put that on, and just trying to get your body to realize like, okay, we are calming down now physically. Deep breaths are great. I don't think that breathing is going to help until we allow like the full integration of tension release. So that's why I'm saying like stretching too. So deep breathing while you're stretching, even like taking some deep breaths before you stretch, calming your mind and your muscles. Something that I always love to do with breathing or meditation is thanking my body, thanking it for all that it has done with me and for me today, and just allowing myself to, where I do feel those areas of tightness, like something that I really like to do is like I picture a glowing light there that is warming, opening, releasing that area. And that can be really helpful for me too. And just it kind of turns the adrenaline, that like buzziness, into a gentle warmth in the body, a settling. One of my favorite meditation practices ever for a wind down is just lying in bed in a comfortable position and imagining a glowing light starting at your toes. And that glowing light over your toes is melting and releasing and letting go of any tension that you're holding in that area of your body. And that light continues to scan all the way until you're at the top of your head. Now, sometimes when I'm so tired, like if I'm doing that, I get so relaxed so quickly that like I might not even make it to the top of my head before I fall asleep. And that's okay. So, whichever. And if something like that too, like I should also say, like if a meditation practice is too stimulating for you, like if you're like the type that like, oh, I have to make sure that I finish this before I fall asleep, maybe that's not for you, because like the whole point of it is to relax you. So like you don't have to feel like, okay, I have to get through the whole thing and then fall asleep. If you fall asleep, all is good, right? It's like, that's the part of it. Another thing that I really enjoy too, and like you could find this on YouTube, maybe Spotify, I'm not sure, but sleep music and sleep talk downs. If you like yourself are not one to do like your own meditation where like you're thinking about it, if you need someone to guide you through it, like a voice or something like that, there are a lot out there that are very calming, and they're even like set to specific frequencies at times that will like are set to relax and quiet the body. And so like that to me is super interesting. Like I find frequency, sound meditation and things like that to be very interesting, like I said, but also like very strong for the body, like very helpful for the body. So you could try that. Side note, if you're a parent, I absolutely love sleep stories for kids. I can't remember. I'll try to link. If I can link a playlist in the show notes, I will. But I love these, and like so does my daughter. So they are these like the sweetest little stories with super gentle music. Like one of her favorites is like the Village of Fairies and Elves. There's like a story about like the underwater mermaid palace. Things like that where you go to these imaginary lands, and it is the most calming voice. And it like goes through the story, and you see the elf in the tree, and as you walk deeper into the forest and blah, blah, blah. And it's like such sweet, very, very sweet stories. And it's like, I'm about to fall asleep by the time we're like 5 minutes into the story. And instantly, I mean, like it is a very calm way to enter sleep. And I love that. So if I can link, there's a playlist that I follow, somebody's playlist, and it's just so good. Sleep stories for kids. You could even like probably just search that, and I'm sure some will come up. But those probably, they might exist for adults as well. I don't know. I haven't searched, but hey, like I'm sure they're there. So these are just a few tips that I have. And I think what's really important is when we, at the end of the day, whether it's a big day of teaching, a competition day, or like leading into a day where you're like, oh, got to wake up early, we can't just say to our body, okay, relax. Okay, lay down. Okay, go to sleep. Things like that. You need to let go of some of the things that you're feeling. And that's why I'm saying too, like, we can't even say like jump right into meditation. Because I mean, from experience, if I'm going to jump right into meditation, I am still thinking about the things if I haven't let them go. So the first part that I recommend in a wind down practice is letting go of things. That is the things that you're holding on to from the day, the thoughts that you're holding on to from the day, the physical tensions in your body that you're feeling from the day, and then going into that relaxation mode. Because I think about it even in respect to like, the babies right now, like my twins, I can't just, as much as you want to be like, okay, go to sleep, and then like walk out of the room, like they need support, and you need support too. And so it's that whole idea of like, we're allowing ourselves to settle. We're allowing ourselves to relax, but not in that instantaneous, like, I should be falling asleep right now. Like, what? And then you keep looking at the clock and you're like, oh my God, it's been another hour. It's like we create tension within our bodies to try to fall asleep. And we need to be able to let that go in order to make it happen. And if we're not relaxing, maybe starting again with that letting go process, get the journal out again. Like, what are you still holding on to that is not allowing you to calm down in this moment, to relax in this moment? Just so, so important. And, hopefully too, not only are we like getting ready to relax, but hopefully these practices and these tools will help you to have a deeper relaxation and a deeper sleep. Because when we're letting go of things, we can like just allow that settling process to happen. So I really hope that these tips help you in some way, because they help me greatly. And I know what it's like to have the effects of the day still in your body, still in your energy, and how important it is to really allow that to release so that you can rest for a new day ahead. So looking ahead, I do want to mention that I'm going to be popping onto the podcast only when I'm feeling inspired, because I'm going to own right now, I most likely am not going to be super consistent in the weeks ahead. My competition season is March and April. And last year I was doing the podcast during that time and it was wonderful, but I had extra time and space for it. This year, not so much. And I really want to be as present as I can be for my team this season and for my family this season. And I have there's so much going on these days, but I really want to be fully where I am. And I never ever feel pressure putting out a podcast episode, but I want to do it only when it feels most inspired and when I am having that time to do so. I just really feel like I constantly talk about that, like giving time, giving space, honoring your needs. And sometimes I don't always do that. And that happens, I think, for so many of us. So going into the season, I just have this gut feeling that like I need to be as present as I can be. And if I feel inspired, I will for sure be putting out some episodes, but it's not going to be on the consistent week-to-week basis during March and April. My plan is to be back in May with more consistent topics, specifically relating to recital preparation, summer dance, national tips, and more. So I really want to thank you all for your support and listens. I so appreciate everything with this Dance Teacher Pep Talk podcast and everything that it has become and is. And if you are looking for more content, I will still be posting on my Instagram at Dance Teacher Pep Talk from time to time as well. So maybe a podcast episode won't go out, but some content will go up. So make sure you follow me there. But again, I just want to thank you so much for your listens and support. And if you feel called to share this episode with a friend or colleague who you feel would benefit from wind down practices, I would so appreciate it. And if you feel called to rate and review that podcast, that helps it to reach others just as it has reached you. So I want to thank you again so much. And I hope you have a beautiful day ahead, a beautiful week ahead, and a wonderful March and April. And I will be on when I can. So thank you all so much. Have a great day.